the honor recently of being asked to join a ceremony involving the energy of the deity you saw on screen. I was asked to come and respectfully witness a ceremony involving Oshun. And today, we're going to talk about Oshun, talk about why and how Oshun came to be, and share about how we are not as different as we think. In reality, we have more than just a few commonalities regarding how we explore religion and spirituality. Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette. So good to share energy with you today. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath, and I am grateful that you invited me in. I'm grateful that you came with an open heart today. This is one that's super close to my heart in many ways. If you're interested in working with me, I have information below. My website, anything else you'll need to know, any links or teaching aids will be down there too. Check with your angels first before we do the work that we might be called to do. Today I am wearing my Oshun best. Okay, we are drenched in only the finest sunshine yellows to represent Oshun. And Oshun specifically has a connection to me because of how I like to show up and display my version of my own beauty. Oshun has a direct tie-in to beauty and the pain and the power and the lessons that come from within. So today I'd like to tell you the lore of Oshun, the story of Oshun, and give you an understanding and make some other spiritual and religious parallels that may seem maybe more familiar to you or maybe less familiar to you depending on what you study. Before I get into this, I want to declare to you this specifically. Just because we're talking about this energy, this deity, doesn't mean that you are quote-unquote a daughter of Oshun. Specifically, the person who invited me to witness this sacred ceremony was in fact, and is in fact, a daughter of Oshun. And it was Oshun's birthday in her life to celebrate, and I'm going to have them correct in the comments anything I get wrong. Hello to Miss Dolly. Hello to you, Miss Jeanette, my beautiful, beautiful, spiritual, powerful friends. When you watch this, let me know whatever I got wrong. I'm going to do the best I can. Please let me know how I do. But I was there to see Miss Jeanette, who is a crowned elder in the spirituality that she practiced. And the deity, the energy, the goddess that works with her is Oshun. And so the beautiful picture you saw, I did ask for permission to post that. They said I could. And so I wanted to wait until we were in a good space, astrologically wise, because I infuse a couple of things here, guys. And I wanted to teach to you guys about this, okay? So this feels like the perfect time. So let's talk about Oshun, the goddess, and how she came to be and why she was so fine, and what shifted her reality. And then I will tie it up at the end with my observations of being welcomed in by people that don't necessarily practice the same spirituality or religion, and yet there's so many similarities and there's so many powerful things that we all do. And I think even if Oshun has not chosen you to be a daughter of her, you can take inspiration from the energy, the story. You can understand your power and how she can have you be in all your glory, because that's what Oshun is about, is absolute feminine, divine, feminine power in every way and glory. So sit a spell, have a stay, and let's talk about what Oshun might have to say. So I jotted down some notes. So what you need to know is that Oshun, beautiful Oshun. Oshun, one of the things that came up is that Oshun is associated with peacocks, and it represents, they say that when peacocks are so beautiful, the male peacock specifically, ironically, but the peacock, when it spreads its feathers out, it is said that the eyes on the feathers are representative of how many times Oshun had sex, okay? So again, correct me if I have got this wrong, Miss Jeanette and Miss Dolly. So Oshun was a lover, and she kind of essentially spread her energy, her good sweet waters to everybody, right? And she was very comfortable and powerful in her sex, and she kind of kept the population, the male population, let's say it this way, she kept it down. She not kept the male population down, but kept the stress of the male population down, I should say. And she was doing her thing and living her, best life. And then one day love was to be found. And who she fell in love with was Shango. And Shango and her were both fine. But Shango was an F-boy of the highest order. She fell in love with Shango. Because one of the things that matched up for them was that they both had the same level of sexual prowess. So she could serve it, he could throw it, she was throwing it, he was catching it, all that. And so Shango had her hooked and locked. You know how that good dude will have you, ladies. He'll have you hooked and locked. But Shango wasn't practicing locking her down in the same way energetically, from what I understand. Shango was on his F-boy energy, from what I understand, which broke Oshun's heart desperately. She was so in love with him, she was down bad. How bad? All the way down bad to the grave. To the grave she went, where she was encountering and chatting with Oba, or Obakalao. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong. And so she's seeking advice. She is like, I don't know what to do. Because when she got depressed, she was acting out essentially. And before she decided in her depression that she wanted to numb herself, she started sleeping with everybody. Everybody. Because that's what she did anyway. That was like her escape. It was her power. It was her prowess. But before, it was once this beautiful thing. It got corrupted when the love atrophied and she felt rejected. So she's doing that. So Obatalao talks to her and essentially says, you can, and some of these names most of the names I'm saying will be names that are specifically for the various gods that show up in this religion specifically. So anyway, Obatalao was talking to her, and it's like, you essentially, like, I'm thinking of the Nene Leakes meme where it says, close your legs to marry men, okay? So the advice was, stop sleeping with everyone. Like, you have to stop this. You can do better. You're such a beautiful girl. Like, you don't have to do this. You need to heal. All right. Well, the thing about it is that she felt like she was being slut-shamed. Oshun felt like Obatalao was slut-shaming her, essentially. And so she was really upset. And I'm going to tell you something about our good sis, Miss Beautiful Deity Oshun. She's a runner. She's a track star. So when she ran away when it got hard, every time it got hard, she would go to a different star, planet, and leave. Or to a different realm, specifically. So after Oba, let's just call her Oba, is talking to her, she's like, you know what? I don't have to take this, and you don't get to tell me what to do with my body, sis. Like, essentially, she's like, don't police me, and, I'm going to do with my poom poom full of prestige what I want to. But she's tired of hearing Oba, so she goes to the moon. So she's in the moon, and when she's at the moon, when she's up in the moon, she gives birth to, I'm gonna say it wrong. Eshway. Essentially, it sounded like Yahweh to me, or Eshu. She gives birth to Eshu, which is her son, and she gives birth to Eshu, but she doesn't know the thing. Like, if you see Eshu, it looks like half one thing, half another. She doesn't know the father of Eshu because she was busy. She was outside. Now, this parallels in Christianity the Immaculate Conception, if you will, that was done without penetration. The idea that there is a powerful God or ascended master or powerful prophet that's born, and that was similar energy of Eshu. That's the parallel that I saw there, was like, oh, these are two kind of like conceptions that are inexplicable, that parallel. And I noticed that in a lot. I study a lot of various religions and theologies, and so that happens often. So that's why I'm like, why are we all fighting each other when we all believe what we believe, and to some degree most of what we believe is similar energy, because we only have one human experience. Well, how varied could it be? Very varied, but you guys get what I'm saying regarding spirituality. Anyway, she gives birth to Eshu, and let's see here. Okay, so she's up there for a while. While she's there, she looks down on the world because she's been gone. She's removed that good poom poom that used to keep everybody calm down. Girl, I want to calm down, okay? So she removes all of that, and she looks down. She's escaped. She needed the coolness of the moon, the retreat of the moon, the escape. Think about that, right? She needed to ebb away. But that flow was calling, and she looked down and she said, now they're acting a fool. There was war going on and conflict. It's because the beautiful, sexy energy of Oshun that was essentially relieving the pressure, y'all get it, off of these men, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, was absent from Earth's energy. So she comes back down to Earth because she's like, you know what? I need to fix this because the men are so incredibly stressed. They were in chaos. So she comes back. And the thing about it is, it's like there's a lot of men to sleep with now. She's got to visit a lot of men, a lot of their houses, a lot of dreams, a lot of beds. Now she's got all these kids because she's been busy. And every time she's having kids and having more kids, the lore that I'm understanding is she gives them to Yamaya, which is the goddess or the Oshun of the sea specifically. So she gives them, and the thing about it is, she's like, Yamaya, just hold my kids real quick. I'm gonna be back. I just gotta go stop the stress from all these manses with my magical, golden, glittery, gorgeous, loving energy and beauty. My sweet energy, my honey sweet energy. And then she is done for a minute sewing her oats. Maybe everyone's calmed down. The pressure's off. She's like, okay, I can go do what I need to. Let me go pick up the kids real quick. Well, she gets to Yamaha, and Yamaha's like, pick up who? Essentially, we call CPS on you in the spirit realm. You can't have these kids. So Yamaya acts like a grandmother energy to me is how I channeled it and how I was taught it to. And it's like, you can't have these kids because you're irresponsible AF and you out sucking in everybody. And what you supposed to do with these kids? So she puts on some big mama energy and calls the kibosh on it. So now Oshun's upset again. Now, here's what we know about Oshun. She's a little temperamental in this way, but all the gods and goddesses are. So she's like, again? I was slut-shamed by Obatala, and now Yamaya's like, you're an unfit mother just because I'm out here doing what needs to be done to keep the ire and the anger of the men down. So she's off. She's like, you know what? I am so upset. And again, what do we know about Oshun? She's a runner. She's a track star. So she said, where can I go to next? Well, since I'm a star, I think I'll head there. So she goes to the sun because she decided I need some escapism and some fun. And since I'm so sparkly, sunshiny, and bright, then I should be bathed under nothing but sunlight specifically. And when she goes there, she is burned horrifically. I'll be connecting below because I think it's very much in alignment with the story of Oshun. Sometimes the things that burn us and scar us teach us the most important lessons and cause us to do a redo, even if we did not ask for it and it seemed like the most terrible tragedy. Sometimes it can turn out to be hidden blessings in reality. There is a designer and his wife who have been together since their younger years, for many, many years, and they were burned in a fire, both of them. And from the ashes, like phoenixes, they rose, and they just put on a show, and she's out there with all of her scars and burns, and they made the most exquisite line of clothing representing the various phases of being burnt alive, of the recovery, and then rising from the ashes. Little fun fact about me is I am obsessed with fashion, high couture fashion. I watch a lot of shows. My favorite artist, Iris Van Herpen, is amongst my favorite because she mixes this surrealism. Oh my gosh, I'll include one of her shows, my favorite shows of hers, that just blew my mind open because it was like, Iris must be an alien because this is what it looks like where I came from somehow, even though I have the memory in my core and not really in my mind. In any case, the clothes she makes are so incredibly, literally divine, and the clothes that this couple made from what happened when their life hit them with the biggest tower, and which ties back into Oshun here. Because Oshun now, after being burned, is someone who has to figure out how to repair what was singed off when she was up on the sun up there. And that's where makeup and hair and the tie-in with the Egyptians comes in. Because she was so beautiful and she was used to being so beautiful. And she wanted to find a way to be beautiful again, just like this couple who turn their physical, literal pain into some of the most beautiful work I have ever seen. I literally cried when I watched a couple-minute runway show because to go through that kind of pain is to really know there is beauty after ashes, there is beauty after scars, and there's beauty after burns. And that's what Oshun teaches too. That sometimes, even when it burns, you will learn. And she transmuted this terrible thing that happened to her. And she comes back and she inhabits. So instead of being associated with the peacock, now she's associated with the buzzer. And what I want to do is connect that to you in the tarot, which is about the scorpionic energy of death, rebirth, and transformation, quite literally. The buzzards are scavengers, right? So she went around cleaning up the earth and helping to deal with the dying and decayed things. And that was now her offering and her penance and her offering, versus her actual body in the way that she used to much pleasure bring to all of society. But because she came back and she had to figure out how to present herself, because a lot of her magic she thought was in her aesthetic, right? But the magic was in more than her aesthetic. The magic was in her energy. It was in her womb. It was in her divine femininity. And from the ashes, she essentially spun for us this incredible world. I've been having so much trouble with my tripod today. I'm going to get this fixed, guys. But this incredible world of beauty and makeup. That's the lore, so that you understand it. And so wigs and the like, all associated with Oshun, makeup and beauty, and again that Egyptian tie-in too. So, and now essentially she's known, she is the goddess over rivers, sweet waters. You guys get it? Y'all see the tie-in? The river's always running. She's drinking that Fiji. She is that Fiji. So over rivers and over love and beauty and sexuality, sensuality, and divine femininity. You have seen Oshun's energy and lore show up in many places. One of the things that the person who taught it to me was talking about was Harlem Nights, where they say she's got a, I'll find the clip if I can. She's the lady that's running the brothel on Harlem Nights says, and it's appropriate that it's a brothel because Oshun slept with a lot of people. So one of the ladies that's running the brothel says, I have Della Reese, I believe it's Della Reese, this famous actress. She says, I have a girl that is so good that if you threw her sweet waters, her poom poom up to the sky, it would turn into sunshine. A literal representation of the transformation that Oshun went through when she ascended to the sun. Also a tie into Greek mythology, since I'm talking about the various ways that this shows up in theology and spirituality, to Icarus, who flew too close to the sun and his wax feathers melted and he plummeted back to earth to his death because he got haughty with pride and disrespect. Same lesson, different way. Much more dramatic and tragic for Oshun, but she brought us essentially back from it beauty, teaching us too that no matter what happens to the outside of you, beauty is literally actually inside of you. And even if it's not, you can make it do what it do. What do they say now? You're not ugly, you're broke. That part, sis. That part, sir. You can create and craft anything, and that's the magic that Oshun does bring when you tap in. But again, you have to be chosen. But it doesn't mean that you can't be inspired by the energy or wear yellow, which is associated with the solar plexus when we're dealing with our chakras and your self-esteem. You can do that, or understand the sacral energy that Oshun did bring. Fortify that orange color that deals with your sacral plexus, as your sacral chakra, as well as how you create and how you receive pleasure. Oshun was a giver of pleasure, sweet waters. Also, in the color purple, since we are dealing just off, we're literally a day out of Black History Month, the color purple deals with a moment where Shug Avery, in the book, Shug Avery and Celie kiss. They were lovers, really. If you've read the book, if you've seen the movie, you won't understand that. In the second movie, in the remake, the musical, they have them dancing in a romantic way, so it's an illusion, but to what it really was, but they were lovers, and that was what it was. Essentially, Celie was never shown love by Mr. That's another story for another day. And Shug Avery understood that Celie needed love and also knew that Mr. could not give her the love she wanted. So they were lovers. And that's the true story of Shug Avery. And that's why she's saying, sister, you've been on my mind. She missed her lover. Sister, you're one of a kind. So, sister, shake your shimmy, all that. She was talking to her baby. Okay, that's another story. That's what she came back for, was that lady. Anyway, message. But what I will tell you is this. In it, when Shug Avery kisses Celie. Celie's recounting via poetry in first person, and she says her lips were like honey, and Alice Walker talks about that being a nod to Oshun, specifically because Oshun makes things sweet, hence her being the sweet waters. So if you're offering things to Oshun, honey would be amongst the things, sweet fruit, sunflowers, orange fruit, things of that nature could be offered to Oshun. Money, things that are sparkly and shiny and beautiful, hence my beautiful veil that I'm trying to keep on my head today. But there are things that you can offer if you are in the idea of putting something on an altar, or you can offer to the sweet water specifically and offering to Oshun. I have a short here and I'll collect it below where I went to Oshun to offer things because I needed some healing and I needed some energy directed at me in a certain way. And I am not a chosen daughter of Oshun, but to Oshun I understand and respect the energy of, and energetically I asked permission. I cleared it really with one of these beautiful ladies that I'm speaking about that you might see in the comments below, and they essentially said, she said it was safe to go. That's why I'm saying do what you need to do. I cannot direct and guide you. I'm not your mama, but I will tell you, if anything you do in this work, ask permission first. Even if you don't have a beautiful Mr. to ask permission of, ask if it feels right in your soul. Use a pendulum to test it. You guys have your pendulums, right? Use a pendulum to test it. You can body test and see your resistance, yes or no. Is it safe for this to happen? Ask your intuition and start before you even work with an offering. So something sweet, a beautiful treat, some gorgeous flowers in this wonderful color. These sunflowers here remind me here of Oshun. You see the colorscape. The thumbnail that will be on here won't be my face, it will be the crown and throne area for the woman who was celebrating Oshun and the time that Oshun's been having chosen her and worked in her life. It's been about 6 years. And so it was a party. It was beautiful. I cried. It was absolutely beautiful. And what I noticed is that as my dear friend was in the spirit, she was in the spirit in the same way that I would have been in the spirit catching the Holy Spirit in a Pentecostal church. And that's why I say we're fighting each other about different spiritualities and religion. So much it hurts, killing our sisters and brothers. And honestly, we all have the similar ideology to some degree, because I watched her catch the spirit in reality. Anyway, that's what I saw. That's how it was, and I was so grateful to be a guest and a fly on the wall. Miss Dolly, I want to thank you for whispering to me the whole time it was going on, because they were singing in another language, so I didn't always understand it. But she would let me know and keep me up and tell me about some of the things that I got to witness, which not everything here I will share. They did say I could share about Oshun, so that's why I am here. So that's what you need to know about Oshun in a quick roundup, guys. I have, I'm not the expert. In fact, I may have got things wrong from the way that I understand it, but again, I leave it for Miss Jeanette. You guys can write down whatever you want to. Miss Dolly, please leave your thoughts below or let me know, and maybe I'll make another video. But I just wanted to introduce you to Miss Beautiful Oshun. Beautiful because of what she went through, just like you. All right, guys, so good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time, and we're going to continue to sparkle and shine and be absolutely divine and pay homage to the goddesses that are walking us through our divine feminine evolution time after time.